Thank everybody for coming out once again to support this great event. And we are hoping that if you can make it to Atlantic City, I've been to Atlantic City in the last 2 months, and I tell you, it's a place to be, particularly for those who are in love and those who are thinking about getting married and anything. It's a paradise for romance. They've really changed that boardwalk. So it's just more than a fight. It might really bring some things together for you. So you ought to really try that experience. I want to thank Showtime once again, Ken Hirschman, Chris, and Jody, and everybody that's been involved in this. And also to say that, you know, I think it's a perfect horizon for the tournament to conclude with Ward-Froch and Andre Ward. One thing that we've prided ourselves on in this sport, and when we got into this sport, and realizing the ups and downs in this sports and the unforgiveness of professional boxing, and the microscope that you're under, and the magnifying glass that you're under, is there's no time in this sport to minimize your opponent. If your opponent has gotten to the same platform that you've gotten to, then he ought to be respected. And so, you know, I'm not here to minimize Ward-Froch and his team. Ward-Froch is a fantastic fighter. He's earned it. I think he's a very engaging personality. I think he represents the UK well. I think he's deserving of all the accolades that need to come to him. I think he is in the same situation in the UK that we might be here in the United States, that he hasn't been truly recognized yet as a great champion. Somebody has to win in Atlantic City and somebody has to lose. But if it's conducted right, there should be 2 winners and no losers, because both fighters have paid their way. I know there have been some talk. Thank you. I know there have been some talk about the level of opposition, and we understand how it all works. You know, everybody has 2 different paths to the destination, and we shouldn't minimize one person's path and maximize another. It took hard work to get where you're at, and it's going to take hard work to stay where you're at. I don't think Froch's career is over, and ours certainly isn't over. And the Super 6 finale will not be a culmination of your abilities and of your further impact in this sport. So I'm not here to go with all the things that most people are accustomed to in professional boxing, the trash talking and the what I'm gonna do to you, and slap your mama and fight up on the stage and all this old kind of stuff. I mean, you know, bravado is one thing, facts is another. We're very confident going into the fight. I've had an opportunity to watch the young man Froch for a long time. I know who he is and I know what he's about. And there is a formula to defeat him, and to defeat him handily. But at the same time, it's going to have to be implied. It's not going to be given to us. We realize that we have to take it, and that's the preparation for the whole camp leading up to the fight. Whatever we have to get, we have to take it, and we're going to prepare to take it. Thank you.
Thank you, Virgil. And at this time, we'd like to introduce to you another gentleman who has been a long-time part of Andre's life, a long-time promoter and supporter of Andre Ward, from Antonio Leonard Promotions, Antonio Leonard.
Thank you, and good afternoon. I ain't gonna take up a lot of y'all time because y'all all here to see Andre Ward and Ward-Froch. But for the time in my life that I've been in Andre Ward life, like I said, y'all done heard me probably say this 4 times, as we had 4 victories here in Oakland. I came in his life in 2002. He promised me in 2004 he was gonna win a gold medal, and he went and done it. He promised me when he fought Miguel Kessler, I'm gonna win the WBA championship, and he done it. The kid got a strong family, his wife Tiffany, his beautiful 3 kids. I have worked with some of the best fighters in the world, including Floyd Mayweather, Winky Wright, Diego Corrales. I've been knowing my friend here, Ken Hirschman, which run the best network, Showtime. And I can definitely tell you, on October the 29th, there's no question, no doubt in my mind that Andre Ward will be the WBA, the WBC champion, the Super 6 champion, and the Ring Magazine champion, and will be a role model and going to set a standard in boxing for a lot of fighters to fight. This kid here is the real deal. There's no question in my mind that Ward-Froch is a tremendous fighter. He's a great fighter. And he can hold his head up high. Because like Virgil said and the mayor said, there's going to have to be a loser. It's going to be a good fight. But there's no doubt in my mind, this man here will be world champion that night.
Thank you very much, Antonio Leonard. Well, we are in the city of Oakland, and it seems a little one-sided so far. So certainly we want to hear from our friends from the UK. And at this time, my pleasure to introduce to you a gentleman who is the Group Managing Director of Matchroom Sport. They are one of the world's largest suppliers of sports programming for the past 2 decades. He is the promoter for Ward-Froch. Please welcome to the microphone, Mr. Eddie Hearn.
Thank you, Jimmy. I forgot we were here for a minute, actually. Listen, you know, as was said earlier, it's easy to hype fights up and to badmouth fighters, and you know, Carl said to me this morning that it's difficult to do that when you respect someone. And I know that everyone and the media would love us to sit here and these two to go off at each other, but I'm not sure that's going to happen, because they've just got huge amounts of respect for each other. And I think that's refreshing to see in the sport these days. I think lately we've seen a lot of fights that have been hyped through the hills and that haven't delivered. But I think everyone's pretty confident who knows these fighters and who knows their teams about how much this fight is going to deliver for Showtime. And just want to take this opportunity to thank Showtime for their heart and their enthusiasm in completing a tournament which has simply revolutionised the sport, taken the politics away, and just really let the very best in the division go at it. And we're left with really the 2 best men standing in the division today. This is stage 3 of this tour. We started in London at our headquarters and we were in New York yesterday, and thanks so much for holding the hospitality for us here. It's a beautiful city, and it's so nice to see so many of you to come out today, but I've got some terrible news for you. You're going to be very, very disappointed. Seriously. Because Andre Ward is a great fighter, but Ward-Froch is not human. He is a machine. He has proved time and time again, fighting the very, very best in the division, away from home. This man is a beast. And he's going to go out there and he's going to win the WBA, the WBC, the Super 6 Cup, and the Ring Magazine belt, and do us proud. Andre Ward talked earlier in the week that he's apparently been in the trenches before, but I'm telling you, he hasn't been in the trenches with England's finest. And on the 29th of October, it's going to be a hell of an event, a hell of a fight. And I'm sure both camps believe their fighter's going to win. And we hope to see you there on the 29th. We're going to have a huge, huge following of British fans. You love the British, right? We're going to have a party out there on the 29th. Not only are we going to show you how to fight, we're going to show you how to party. So it's all good. But on a serious note, listen, it's been a pleasure spending time with Dan and Andre and his team. Boxing's the winner here, and that's great for any sport that you're involved in, that 2 fine, fine young men and athletes can meet on the big stage like this. So thanks a lot for coming out, and I hope to see you on the 29th.
Thank you, Eddie Hearn. And now it's time to hear from the other side. Andre Ward's promoter is a gentleman with over a quarter-century of professional boxing promotions, and he heads one of the preeminent companies in the world. He's the president of Goosen Tudor Promotions. Please welcome Dan Goosen.
See, already they're egging me on to get them. But I've already come to realize it would only be a promoter trying to get Eddie and Carl. I'd rather reach out to the fans out here. Who's going to win October 29th? Pardon me? And who's going to be partying October 29th? I'm going to show you guys how to do it. Oakland's best is going to win October 29th, I promise you that. You know, that doesn't mean that there's any underestimation of the abilities of Ward-Froch. As a matter of fact, he is everything his promoter has said, which is one of the reasons why this tournament has been so astounding, not only for the sport, but for the fans. This is what it's all about. And when Andre beats Ward-Froch October 29th, he's going to beat a man that is everything that he says he is. And it's just going to raise Andre Ward's popularity, abilities to a different level. He's going to bring it home to Oakland, folks. He's going to bring that title from England, the WBC super middleweight title, and bring it here to Oakland. He's going to take the Ring Magazine belt, bring it home to Oakland. He's going to keep his WBA super middleweight belt and bring it home to Oakland. And more importantly than all of that, you see that beautiful cup there? We're going to be drinking out of it in Atlantic City. Okay? And orange juice to boot. Okay? That's the way we party here. But seriously, I want to thank Carl. I want to thank Eddie. They've been tremendous on this press tour. As Eddie said, we went to London, had a great reception there. Went to New York. And of course, I think it's been not since 1944 we get to New York. We're in the one of the high-rises, getting ready to film a commercial spot, and the next thing we know, we're evacuated because there's an earthquake in New York. In New York, well, Virginia, and it affected us in New York. We're in the 57th floor, I think Andre was on. I'm going, oh my God, what the heck's happening? But thank goodness we made it out of there, because we got here just in time for Oakland's earthquake. What the heck are we having an earthquake back to back? It was crazy. So the next thing they're going to shake is October 29th. I want to thank you all for coming out. It's beautiful to be back here in Oakland. As you know, we've represented the city for many years. To have the mayor and the councilman Reed sitting here supporting us. We want to see you all in Atlantic City October 29th. Tell your friends, tell your buddies, and if you can't do it, where are you going to see this fight on October 29th?
Showtime.
Showtime, okay? One more cheer. Who's going to win October 29th? Where's he from? See you guys later. Love you.
All right, thank you very much to Mr. Dan Goosen. At this time, we move along. It's time to hear from the fighters themselves. First of all, perhaps the WBC World Champion is best known not only for being a beast, for being a machine in the ring, but perhaps his resiliency throughout this tournament. Many people have pointed to the fact and claimed that his competition has indeed been the most fiercest in the Super 6 World Boxing Classic. How did he get here? Well, his platform was in Europe, and he proved himself with a victory over Andre Durrell in round number 1. His second fight was against the tournament favorite at one point, Mikko Kessler. A very, very tough, a very, very close fight. Could have gone either way. He fell short in the decision. Did that stop him? No, because his next opponent was Arthur Abraham, who he performed masterfully and virtually shutting out and regaining his WBC world title. In the semifinals, he met Glenn Johnson, many consider one of the fights of the year. Again, an almost perfect performance by this gentleman. We are now here to hear from him. Please welcome to the microphone the two-time and defending WBC Super Middleweight Champion of the world, Carl the Cobra Froch.
Thank you, Jimmy. Okay, it's a pleasure to be here in Oakland. This is the last stage of what's been quite tiresome last couple of days I flew over from New York yesterday, last night. Before that we came from London. So it's been a long, arduous task, but I've enjoyed it. And to finish the day off here in Oakland, it's a pleasure. The weather's beautiful. People seem friendly enough. I'm not sure who you're here to support, but you know, I'm going to get my hopes up that you're going to be cheering for me on the night. But you know, I think it's important what was said earlier by both the promoters, that you know, the fans come out of their way to support not just Andre Ward, but what's a fantastic event. I've had a long career as a boxer. You know, I started boxing at the age of 8 years old. I'm now 34 years old. I've been a professional almost 10 years, and I won't bore you with my amateur record, but as a professional, I've achieved great heights, and I've became world champion. In this tournament, I've lost the title, and I've won the title back. So I know what it means to win. I know what it means to taste defeat, and the taste of defeat is bitter. It's nasty, you know. And without the bitter, the sweet is never as good. And I think after that loss, it gave me a little bit of a kick where I needed it, and I put the extra work in the gym. And on the 29th of October, when I'm defending my WBC title for the 4th time, I will be in the best possible physical and mental shape I can be in for this fight. Before this tournament came along, I won the world title off a guy called, well, it was a vacant title, and me and Jean Pascal went at it for 12 grueling rounds, and I became WBC champion. Then I came over to America, to a place called Connecticut. Fantastic place, lovely venue, and I boxed the great Jermaine Taylor, undisputed middleweight champion of the world, and he gave me one hell of a fight that night in Connecticut. And to come through that fight in the manner in which I did, I climbed off the canvas in round 3, and I put it all on the line for the remainder of the fight, and got the 12th round victory by stoppage in the last round, and that just sums up the sort of person, the sort of fighter I am. And after that win, I got invited into this tournament, which is a very, very strong level of opposition in this tournament. It was always going to be a hard task for every single one of these fighters. There's been injuries, there's been pullouts, there's been problems, complaints, but 2 of the fighters that started the original 6 lineup, Andre Ward and myself, Ward-Froch, the Cobra, we're in the final, and we're the 2 finest fighters in the division, the 2 best fighters. Mental toughness, physical attributes, you know, and we're going to be both in there on the night trying to maintain and retain our belts and win the other accolades that are on the line. Andre Ward wants my belt, I want Andre Ward's belt. We are both unbelievable fighters. We're the best in the game, the best in the division. So, you know, everybody is in for a treat. There's no losers here. Showtime, City of Oakland, City of Nottingham, the UK versus the USA, if you like. It's not England v America, but it's panned out. I'm from Britain, Andre's from the USA, and we're the 2 finest fighters in the world in our division, going at it for one hell of a prize in the Super 6 World Boxing Cup, 2 titles and the Ring Magazine belt. So everybody's in for a treat. But let me tell you, I will not be denied. I haven't come this far in my career as an amateur and the work I've done as a professional to be denied on the 29th of October. I carry dynamite in both hands, and I'm looking at exploding on the 29th of October and doing what's necessary to maintain and retain my belt and win what else is on the line. Nothing's going to stop me. And if Andre Ward's coming with the same attitude, which I'm sure he is, and if his trainer Virgil's as confident as he sounds, then everybody is in for a real, real treat, because it's 2 of the best fighters in the division going at it, and we both believe we're going to win this belt. So I'm just excited and looking forward to it. I wish I could sit at ringside and watch the fight, but obviously I can't. I've got to get in there and back up my talk, which is what I always do. So just enjoy it, embrace it, and I'll see you there hopefully. Take care, Oakland.
Well said, Ward-Froch, the WBC Super Middleweight World Champion. Now his opponent, of course, from here in Oakland, needs not too much of an introduction or summary of how he made it to the finals. But that I will give you anyways. To start the tournament, he was one of the fighters, the young fighters, not completely tested and not yet a world champion. He fought the great tournament favorite Mikko Kessler in the first round. Mikko Kessler held the WBA world title, and he was clearly the tournament favorite. What happened in that evening right here in Oakland simply astounded the world of boxing when Andre Ward won virtually every round and took to school the great Mikkel Kessler. In the next fight, Andre Ward fought Alan Green again. I think he virtually won every single round of that bout. Brought him to the semifinals where he fought Arthur Abraham in the semifinals. Once again, the first couple of rounds were competitive, but after that, it was all Andre Ward. Quite a feat for a gentleman to do against 5 of the best super middleweights in the world. He has been tremendous at the tournament. Here is the undefeated WBA super middleweight champion of the world from Oakland, California, Andre S.O.G. Ward.
Thank you, Jimmy. I want to thank everybody for coming out. I understand it's the middle of the day, and hopefully most of you guys are taking lunch breaks and you got a job to go back to. But I'm thankful. I know this is, every time I see your faces, it's a really big deal to me, and excuse me, and I don't take it lightly. When I go on the road, you guys go on the road with me. I hope all you guys can come out to Atlantic City, October 29th, Boardwalk Hall. We're going to put a package deal together, Dan Goosen and his team, to try to make it affordable. And if you can't, like I said before, I'm going to take you guys with me, and I just greatly appreciate you. Thank you. I want to thank the mayor, obviously, my team, my wife, my family, my friends. I consider my fans my friends. Pertaining to this fight, it's amazing how some of the toughest talkers are the ones that's not getting in there. They got a whole lot to say. They got predictions. They got their thoughts about it, but they're not lacing them up. And at the end of the day, it's going to be me and Carl Froch lacing them up. I think we have mutual respect, but we're trying to get a mutual prize. And he's standing in my way, and I'm standing in his way. And somebody's got to get out the way. I don't have to minimize Froch or tell you guys my whole life story and my whole career. You guys know what it is. I'm just determined like I was from day one. I'm fired up for this. These are days that I've dreamed about. Being a unified world champion, the WBC belt, a belt that I've had my eye on for many, many years. Defending my belt also for the 4th time. Winning the Super 6 Cup, as Dan likes to call it. And the most coveted Ring Magazine championship to prove who is the best 168-pounder in the world. It's going down October 29th, and yours truly, Andre Ward, Oakland's own, is going to be prepared, ready. I'm up for the challenge. I'm fit for the task, and my goal is to let October 29th be my night and bring those belts back home to the Bay. Thank you.